Last night I did something that I haven't done in quite some time. I went to the cinema and I watched a Marvel movie for the first time in a very, very long time. The MCU has been kind of going up and down within the last few years. There have been some bangers and there have been some not so great movies, to say the least. And it was Madam Web, obviously the movie that came out. A lot of people were saying this movie was gonna fail and it was really gonna be bad. To me, when I go into a movie, I have an open mind with everything. I don't really like listen to critics or I don't listen to reviews or anything. I just go in, I just kind of see what it's about. And, I was just expecting for, an entertaining time at the movies. And that's all I really need at the end of the day. And, I was watching the movie and it was so embarrassing because we got there at a good time. We didn't buy the tickets or anything. There was no one in the theater on opening night. Friday night, there was no one in the theater seeing this movie. We felt so weird. It was a Friday night. It just came out. Why was no one seeing this movie? I felt kind of odd in the theater because usually a Marvel movie, it's packed. I know this movie was kind of like not really advertised that much, but still, if a new movie's coming out, the day of release, there should be at least some people seeing it. It just really felt sad that a lot of people just didn't see this movie. Overall, the movie was okay. It did have some good moments and some stuff. I'm not really picky when it comes to movies or entertainment or, I just expect a good time. It doesn't need to blow me away, As a Marvel movie, it was kind of okay. It was kind of bad as a Marvel movie just because there wasn't that much action and, all that kind of jazz. But as a movie on its own, cinematography was great. That was probably the highlight of the movie. And since I'm making movies now, that's something I really look out for is kind of the cinematography, the direction style, and kind of the story and all the back components of the film. And I looked up the reviews as we were walking out of the theater. And just to see the amount of bad reviews, it was literally 13% on Rotten Tomatoes and a 3 out of 10 on IMDb reviews. I was like, holy shit, this shit is so bad. And my mom was like, oh, how much money did it made? So I looked at the budget. It was 80 million. And I looked at how much they made. I said to my mom, guess how much they made? She says, 100 million? And I burst out laughing. They made $6 million on the Friday on opening weekend. They spent $80 million and made $6 million in return. That is such a bad return on investment. And just kind of seeing all these reviews and just seeing the bad stuff that Marvel's been putting out recently, it just kind of made me think of the future of Marvel and just overall. I know this movie wasn't part of the MCU or anything, but it is a new low for I guess this whole genre. And I guess for the future wise, it does look pretty bad since, a few years ago we had Morbius, which was another thing. Obviously that movie was bad. I didn't see it. I mean, I just assume it's bad. You never know until you try, but whatever. It's kind of this situation, but way worse. It's just a lot of people just didn't like it. And the fact that I was in the theater opening night and no one else was there was really embarrassing. And just kind of thinking of Marvel the last few years overall. Obviously we had Endgame. Endgame was the number one movie of all time. Obviously that movie was great. I really loved it. Ever since that, it just felt like everything is a hit or miss. Everything is either great, mid, or bad. It just seems at least for me, I really liked a lot of stuff that has been coming out recently, especially in 2021 where we got WandaVision, all the shows and everything. Loki was also really good. That was a really good start to that whole phase of the multiverse and stuff like that. And then we got Spider-Man, and the Spider-Man movies were really good as well. A lot of mid movies like Black Widow. I don't know what else. Doctor Strange, I wasn't a big fan of. Thor: Love and Thunder, stuff like that. And I'm sure if you're a Marvel movie, you're obviously watching this right now. Kind of the struggle. And even my good friends who have been Marvel fans for years, they say, hey, Marvel isn't what it used to be. And some of them aren't even watching Marvel anymore. These people are diehard fans. I think for me, I was more of a casual fan. I was watching every single movie, just seeing kind of the next phase, especially leading up into Infinity War. That's everyone was into it. Everyone was into the movies and hey, what's going to be coming out next? Everyone was looking forward to the next step in the franchise. And now it's just kind of like no one's really excited for anything except for maybe Avengers 5 and 6 that come out in like a few years or whatever. But at least for me, like there's nothing really exciting coming out for Marvel in the next few years. It just feels like the main character's story has ended. Like obviously we had Iron Man's story and Captain America's. Those were the two main characters in the whole franchise, and those people have ended the stories. And we had like Wanda, Loki, Thor, and like just a bunch of other characters. It just feels like everyone's character arcs are ending, and we're bringing like so much new shit and so much new characters and stuff. A lot of things aren't really clicking with people, and a lot of things like just don't excite people, and that's all right. At least for me, in my opinion, it's okay not to be excited for everything. Miss Marvel, She-Hulk, whatever it might be, Moon Knight, whatever. With all this new Marvel shit coming up, I think the last few years there's been so much quantity, and they haven't been focused on quality. They've just been trying to focus on like just getting as much out as possible. They're just seeing what clicks. And to be honest, that's okay that we're entering this new phase and like, hey, like we're just gonna throw a bunch at the wall and just kind of see where it lands. And not everything has to be a banger. I think, back in the day where like we had like 3 Marvel movies like a year, every single one of them were bangers. Like, we had like, I don't know, that one year, Avengers Infinity War, then Thor Ragnarok, Guardians of the Galaxy, or whatever. I'm just naming names, but like you get the point. Every single movie was like a banger. Every single one was great, and you were looking for the next one. Now it's just kind of like a hit or miss, and it doesn't really matter if you're excited for the next one because it's completely not connected to the previous one, if that makes sense. They're also not really connected as they used to be. There are so many different storylines and so many different characters just going along and just doing their own thing, and nothing's really leading to like an end point. And I thought Loki was going to go to somewhere with like the multiverse and Kang and stuff, but it seems like that story has ended. And now I'm just kind of like, I'm not as a big a Marvel fan as I was in the past, and I'm sure you guys aren't as well. But at least for me, I was more of a casual fan. I would check out stuff here and there. And I'm just kind of the same way now. I'll check out stuff here and there. Something looks cool, I'll check it out. But, since I have a life now, I didn't in the past. I have a job, responsibilities, and, obviously this YouTube channel and stuff like that. So I don't have as much time to invest in like a TV show or like a movie. Obviously the movie is like 2 hours. I have no problem just seeing a movie a few times a year. I love going to the movies, but I don't need to invest a lot of time into Marvel and like, just kind of like this whole saga. There's just so much Marvel movies nowadays, it's including the Sony stuff, including other universes and stuff, like Sam Raimi stuff and whatever. There's a lot to take in, but you don't need to take in everything. That's kind of what I've learned in the last like few years with Marvel. And there's so much content nowadays. This is a completely different topic for another video, but you don't really need to see everything. Things are going to be hit or miss, and that's just kind of the way things are with Hollywood and just kind of media in general. Things are just hit or miss, and that's all right, But that's about what I want to say. Madam Web, have you seen her or not? Have you liked it? I mean, I thought it was all right. You guys probably didn't, but I'm excited for. I think Deadpool 3 is next. I haven't seen Deadpool 1 or 2, but I'll definitely check it out. I know Deadpool 3 is also connected to Loki. But anyways, and keep watching movies. Thank you.